All right, in this video, I want to talk to you about the 4 online business pillars. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive, actually a high-level overview, and then you're going to get a deep dive into 3 of these 4, and you'll find some other videos that will help you do more of a deep dive. But I think what I want to do in this video is teach you what no one taught me in the beginning of my journey. I was probably 5 or even 6 years into my business before I even understood how to properly set up my business. And it's interesting that there's a lot of business gurus out there. They all teach marketing and funnels and sales, but no one's teaching you how to properly set up your business on the back end so you can have peaceful profits and have peaceful systems. And so what I want to do today is help you know where to start so that as your business grows, you can just grow in to what you've already put in place. And it'll feel less like you're building the airplane while you're in the air, which a lot of times this process does. So again, this is a high-level overview. I want to try to keep this video as concise as possible, but I want to get this information to you because I think it'll be really helpful. So what are the 4 pillars? Well, pillar 1 is what I call business foundations. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this one in this video. Pillar 2 is on financial management. We've got an entire deep dive video and worksheet on that. Pillar 3 is on operations management. So how do you organize your business on the back end? And then finally, pillar 4 is systems management. There's 3 key systems that you need to have. So let's start with this. It's like a this or that. So you got 4 key decisions that you're going to need to make in your business. The first one is, are you going to operate as a sole proprietor versus an LLC? Now, in the US, and a lot of what I'm going to be recommending here is in the US, and by the way, this is not financial advice, not legal advice. You need to go maybe talk to an attorney or a CPA about your specific situation. But in the US, when you start a business just by collecting payment, you're a sole proprietor. There's nothing you have to do to buy and become a sole proprietor. You are a sole proprietor when you start accepting payment. That moment you're in business. The other thing with being a sole proprietor, and it should be an E on the end, a sole proprietor, is you operate off of your social security. You operate off your social security number in the US as a sole proprietor. And that's how you start. And so when it comes time for tax time, typically that comes by, if you earn any income, it's going to be reported as a 1099 miscellaneous, which then just gets attached to your regular filing for taxes that you typically do. And so for a lot of people, this is how they get started. So if you put a course out there, you make some money on your course, you're a sole proprietor, you're probably going to need to report the 1099 miscellaneous. If you make affiliate income, you're a sole proprietor, and you're going to need to report it. They'll probably send you a 1099 actually, so that you can use that. If you publish a Kindle book and you make some royalties off of that, even though you haven't established an LLC or anything like that, you are operating in as a sole proprietor using your social security number. The other part of this is a lot of people will just start their business operating in their personal checking. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would say at the very least, if you can open up a second account in your personal checking to just try to keep your money in there, it helps for it not to be all mixed in. But in the beginning, you have business expenses when you don't have revenue to cover it. And that's understood. In fact, the IRS expects you your first couple of years to not make a profit because you're trying to get your business off the ground. It's understandable. And so for a lot of people right now, if you've not done anything, then you're operating as a sole proprietor. You're operating as 1099 miscellaneous. And I just realized my getting really dark over here. see if we can improve this. I don't know why it got really, really dark. Okay, maybe it's gotten dark outside. All right, so you're probably operating in this capacity, and then you might be keeping track of your income and expenses on a spreadsheet since you don't have a separate checking account, right? So this is where a lot of people are. But you say, Jonathan, how can I like officially set this up as a business? And that's where we're going to move to the other side. So this versus that. So it starts with an LLC. Now you're going to get your LLC from your state, whatever state you reside in. You want to go and register with that state. And so you'll need to do a quick search for like form an LLC in and insert your state. Again, this is for the US advice. So for me, I would go to a website called Sunbiz. In fact, I just recently set up a second LLC in business for a different business that's apart from what I'm doing here. And so I went through this process, and the first step is to do your LLC. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that will charge you a lot more than you need to. You can actually go straight to your state's website and get your LLC. Every state's different, but here in Florida, I think it ran me about $125, $130 to do the LLC. Took a couple days. They got back to me. Perfect. Once I had an LLC, then I went and got an EIN. What's an EIN? Well, it's the opposite of your Social Security number. EIN is your employer identification number. So this employer identification number is what you would use instead of your Social Security number for a lot of things. Signing up to affiliate programs, reporting for tax purposes. You're separating yourself individually to an LLC. The other reason why some people get an LLC is there is what's called a veil of protection. So if you're ever sued for any reason, your company is sued, not your personal liabilities. Your car, your home, those things are off limits. Again, seek a professional for advice. But that is kind of the high level overview. Instead of a personal checking, you open up a business account. And instead of a spreadsheet, you want to use something like QuickBooks Online. So here's the point. You might be operating like this, and that's okay. But as you're ready, I would highly encourage you to go this route. Now you're going to want to get your LLC and your EIN before you go open up your business account, because most of the time they're going to ask you for those documents. EIN, I didn't mention this, but an EIN, there's companies that will charge you $100 to go get you an EIN. You can go to the IRS website and get an EIN in less than 2 minutes for free. Doesn't cost a thing. Just type in irs.gov and then EIN number. It'll take you to the page. It doesn't take you that long at all. So don't pay anybody to get your EIN number, okay? And then once you get that set up, you can get your QuickBooks set up. So those are kind of the business foundations. And I spend a little bit more time on this. We're going to go faster in the other parts because I've got deep dive videos on the other three. But I wanted to help you kind of understand what the differences are. Hopefully those are helpful. Pillar 2 is financial management. Now, 6 years ago, I read a book called Profit First. I definitely recommend it. And the idea behind it is that as you start bringing in money, how do you know how much to set aside for taxes, for owner's pay, for profit, for expenses? And again, there's an entire video on this, but this is the high-level overview of how I have it structured. So I have, this is like one bank account, okay, one business bank account, but one of mine is an income account. And this is a checking account. And this checking account, all the money comes in. So all the money from PayPal, from Stripe, all of it comes into this one account. And no money goes out of that account. And so what I do is on Fridays, I sit down, just like grandma used to do before there were debit cards. She would go get money out once a week from the bank, and she would put the money into envelopes. She had a food envelope and gas money envelope, clothing envelope, right? That's the concept here, is you're going to open up more checking or savings accounts, whatever combination they'll allow you to open. And once a week, you're going to divide this money up. And so whatever's in that account, I then divide this up. Now, they don't get equal distributions. Check the next video out that I have on that, where you can do a little bit more of a deep dive into percentages. You figure out your own. But this is the primary ones I use. One for profit. Now, in the very, very beginning, I put like 2% into the profit because I was just getting started. Ideally, you want to increase that over time so that you have some savings for rainy days in your business. The next one is taxes. And what's nice about that is in the US, as a business, you have quarterly taxes. So when you have income coming in, once a quarter, you're paying those quarterly tax estimates. By doing so, you're not going to get the big surprise at tax time that you owe several $1,000s that you don't have, because you've been paying at least something quarterly. And so what I do is quarterly, whatever's in my tax account, I pay that to the IRS. I don't have to worry about it, right? Then we have owner's pay. Owner's pay. And that's to make sure you get paid. And you set aside a percentage, even if it's a small percentage in the beginning, because you're doing this on the side, you're starting to reap the benefits of owning a business. And then finally is OPEX, which is just short for operating expenses. Now this one is another checking account. That way you can have like a debit card and pay for, the hosting, the tools that you're using in your business. And so again, there's a deep dive video on that, but that's number 2. Number 3 is thinking about your business and the 4 departments or hats that you wear. And those are marketing, sales, fulfillment, marketing, sales, fulfillment, and management. And I want you to think of each of these like it's a hat that you wear, right? Here's a hat. And you're always working in one of these 4 hats. Marketing is things like, blogging, podcasting, social media content, stuff like that. Sales is related to building a sales page, putting your coaching package together. Writing a book is even sales, because you're going to sell it eventually, right? And so anything related to sales, you are putting in that, you're wearing that hat. Fulfillment is fulfilling your coaching, creating content for your membership site, right? Recording course content or updating it for your courses. That's fulfillment. And then management is really everything else related to reviewing your numbers. How are you doing? Planning for future promos, stuff that you're going to be working on, your goals, review, that sort of stuff. So that's operations management. I have a deep dive video on that. And then finally, pillar 4 is systems management. And there's really 3. There's document management. So you're going to have all, spreadsheets, PDFs, documents, videos that you record for your courses, but you still want to store them somewhere. You have to have storage. So there's a document system you need to have. There are document management. There's also a systems management. And this is how you do things. So as you go along, there at times, again, there's a whole video on this, you need to record how you do things, because there's a lot of repeat things in your business. If you have a podcast, there's a certain way you do your podcast. It's a repeatable task in your business. And then finally is project management. And this is how are you going to manage your projects and tasks? Are you going to use Asana or Slack? Are you going to use a paper planner? What are you going to do to make sure that you get stuff done in your business? And so again, there's deep dive videos on pillar 2, 3, and 4. This is the high level overview. I know there's a lot in this video, but if you simply, maybe for some of you here, your takeaway is to step up your game and get your business set up. Maybe for some of you, it's, I got a business checking account. I need to go open up individual accounts and start doing this process. For others of you, maybe it's starting in Google Drive and just setting up a marketing folder, sales folder, fulfillment folder, and management folder. And then for some of you, maybe it's just making a decision where you're going to store your documents and what tool are you going to use to manage your projects and your tasks. And so there you go. There is the high-level overview. You can download this. We got this as a download below this video if you want to print it off and kind of fill it out and use it as a guide or sketch out your own way to organize your business. Hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you enjoy the other deep dive videos and worksheets that go along with this. All right, you can move on to the next video.